My name is Aisha. This is my story. It is a story about leaving and about starting again. It is a story about having nothing, but also having everything. It sounds strange, I know. But sometimes life is strange. I was married. For 10 years, I was married to a man named Omar. When we first married, I was young. I was hopeful. I thought we would have a happy life. A life full of love and laughter, like in the storybooks. But my storybook was different. My storybook became sad. Omar was not a bad man. Not always. But he was not a good husband to me. He did not see me. He did not hear me. My voice became very small in our house. I felt like a shadow. I tried to be a good wife. I cooked. I cleaned. I smiled. But my smile did not reach my eyes. My heart felt heavy, like a stone in my chest. We lived in a small apartment in a busy city. Omar worked. I stayed home. He liked me to stay home. He said it was my place. I wanted to work. I wanted to learn. I wanted to see the world outside our small windows. But he said no. So I stayed. And I became smaller and smaller. The days were long. The nights were longer. I read books. I dreamed of other places, other lives, a life where I could be myself. A life where my voice was heard. A life where my heart felt light, not heavy. One day, something happened. It was not a big thing, not to other people, but to me it was very big. Omar had a friend visiting. They were talking and laughing in the living room. I brought them tea. Omar's friend said, "Thank you, Aisha. This tea is very good." Omar did not say anything. He did not even look at me. It was like I was not there, just a hand bringing tea. In that moment, something inside me broke. Or maybe something inside me woke up. I looked at myself. I was 28 years old. Was this my life? To be a shadow? To be a hand bringing tea? No. My heart whispered. No, Aisha. This is not your life. You deserve more. You are more. That night I could not sleep. I lay in bed next to Omar. He was sleeping. He did not know the storm inside me. I thought about my life. I thought about my dreams. My dreams were small now. Just to be free. Just to be myself. The next morning, I made a decision. A very hard decision. A very scary decision. I decided to leave. I had no money of my own. Omar controlled all the money. I had no job. I had no place to go. My family lived far away, in a small village, and I knew they would not understand. They would say, "Aisha, a wife stays with her husband. It is your duty." So I knew I would be alone, truly alone. But the thought of staying, of being a shadow for more years, that was even scarier. I waited until Omar went to work. My hands were shaking. My heart was beating so fast. I thought it would jump out of my chest. I looked around our small apartment. It was not a happy place for me, but it was familiar. Leaving the familiar is always scary, even if the familiar is not good. I packed a very small bag, just a few clothes, an old dress, a pair of worn shoes. I had no jewelry, no valuable things. I looked in my purse. I had a tiny bit of money. Money I had saved from the grocery shopping, a little here, a little there. It was not much. Not enough to live on for more than a day or two. I took nothing else. No pictures, no memories from that life. I wanted to leave it all behind. I walked out of that apartment with empty hands. My hands were empty. But my heart was hopeful. It was a tiny spark of hope. But it was there. Hope for a new life. Hope for freedom. Hope to find myself again. I left with only my courage. That is what I told myself. My courage was my only friend that day. It was a quiet friend, but it was strong. I walked out into the busy city street. The city suddenly looked so big, so loud, so frightening. Where would I go? What would I do? I had no answers, just questions and fear, a lot of fear. I walked for a long time. I did not know where I was going. I just walked. My small bag felt heavy on my shoulder. My empty hands felt cold. But my hopeful heart, it kept beating. Thump, thump, thump. Like a little drum telling me to keep going. I found a small park. I sat on a bench. I watched the people. Children laughing. Old couples walking slowly. Young people full of energy. Everyone had a life. Everyone had a place. I felt like I had no place. I was nobody. But then I remembered my courage. You are Aisha, I told myself. You are strong. You can do this. It's okay to feel scared. Everyone feels scared sometimes. The important thing is to not let the fear stop you. I knew I needed to find a place to sleep. I needed to find work. My small amount of money would not last. I saw a sign in a shop window. Help wanted. It was a small restaurant. They needed someone to wash dishes, to clean tables. It was not a dream job, but it was a job. I took a deep breath. My courage pushed me forward. I walked into the restaurant. A kind-looking older woman was there. Her name was Mrs. Fatima. I saw your sign, I said. My voice was shaky. I am looking for work. She looked at me. She saw my small bag. She saw the fear in my eyes. But maybe she also saw the hope. Do you have experience? She asked. I can work hard, I said. I learn quickly. I will do my best. She smiled a little. Okay, she said. You can start tomorrow, washing dishes. It is hard work. Thank you, I said. Tears came to my eyes, my first small step. Thank you so much. That night I found a very cheap room to rent. It was tiny, just a bed and a small window, but it was mine, my own space. The first night I cried. I cried for the life I lost, even if it was a sad life. I cried because I was scared. I cried because I was alone. But the next morning, the sun came through my small window, and I remembered Mrs. Fatima. I had a job. I got up. I washed my face. I went to work. Washing dishes was hard. My hands hurt. My back ached. The restaurant was busy. So many dirty plates. So many glasses. But I worked hard. I did not complain. Mrs. Fatima watched me. Sometimes she would bring me a cup of tea. "You are doing well, Aisha," she would say. Her kind words were like sunshine to my tired soul. I earned my first money. It was not much, but it was mine. My own money. Earned with my own hands. I felt so proud. I bought some bread and some cheese. It was the best meal I had ever eaten, because I had earned it. Life was hard. Very hard. I missed having a home. I missed having someone to talk to. Sometimes, late at night, in my tiny room, I would feel so lonely. I would think about Omar. I would wonder if he missed me, if he was looking for me. But then, I would remember why I left. I would remember the shadow. And I would remember my courage, my hopeful heart. I worked at the restaurant for many months. I saved a little money, very little, but it was enough to feel a little safer. Mrs. Fatima was kind to me. She taught me how to cook some simple dishes. She told me stories about her life. She was like a mother to me. One day, she said, "Aisha, you are a smart girl. You can do more than wash dishes. Why don't you try to find a better job? Maybe in a shop? Or an office, doing simple work?" I was scared. Washing dishes was familiar, now. But Mrs. Fatima believed in me, and her belief gave me courage. So I started looking. I bought a newspaper. I looked at the job advertisements. I wrote applications. My English was not perfect. My writing was simple. But I tried. Many places said no, or they did not reply. It was discouraging. Sometimes I wanted to give up, to just stay washing dishes. It was safe. It was known. But then I would remember my dream. The dream of a life where I could be myself, where I could grow. Finally, I found a job in a small shop that sold fabrics, beautiful fabrics, silks and cottons, so many colors. The owner, Mr. Khan, was an old man with kind eyes. He needed someone to help customers, to keep the shop tidy. I was nervous, talking to customers, handling money. But Mr. Khan was patient. He taught me. I learned the names of the fabrics. I learned how to measure them. I learned how to talk to people, to smile, a real smile this time. My life started to change, slowly. I still lived in a tiny room, but I could afford a little more food. I bought a new dress, a simple dress but new. It made me feel good. I made a friend. Her name was Layla. She worked in a shop next to Mr. Khan's. We would have lunch together sometimes. We talked about our lives, our hopes, our dreams. It was good to have a friend, someone to laugh with, someone to share my worries with. Building a new life was hard. It was like building a house brick by brick. Each brick was a small success. A kind word from a customer, a new skill learned, a little money saved. Some days, the bricks felt very heavy. Some days, I felt like the house would never be finished. There were moments when I missed my old life. It is strange, isn't it? How we can miss things that were not good for us. I think I missed the familiarity, the routine. But then I would remember the feeling of being a shadow, and I knew I could not go back. I had to keep building my new house, my new life. One day, Mr. Khan said, "Aisha, you have a good eye for colors. You arrange the fabrics so beautifully in the window. Customers like it." His praise made my heart warm. I started to enjoy my work more. I started to feel creative. I started to read more books again, books from the small library in my new neighborhood. I learned new words. I learned about the world. My mind started to open up, like a flower blooming in the sun. I was still alone in many ways. I did not have a husband. I did not have a family nearby. But I was not lonely in the same way I was before. I had my work. I had Layla. I had my books. And I had myself. Aisha. A woman who was finding her voice. A woman who was building her own life. My empty hands were not so empty anymore. They were busy working. They were earning my own way. And my hopeful heart? It was still hopeful. More hopeful than ever. Years passed. Yes, years. Building a new life takes time. It does not happen overnight. There were still hard days. Days when I felt tired. Days when I felt sad. But now, I knew how to face those days. I knew I was strong. I had proven it to myself. I saved enough money to rent a slightly bigger room. It had 2 windows and a small table where I could write. I started writing a journal, my thoughts, my feelings, my small victories. It helped me to see how far I had come. I never saw Omar again. I heard he remarried. I hope his new wife is happy. I truly do. I hold no anger towards him anymore, just a quiet sadness for the years I lost, but also gratitude. Gratitude because his unhappiness with me pushed me to find my own happiness. And what about my courage? My old friend? It is still with me. It is stronger now. It has grown with me. It is not just about leaving anymore. It is about living, about trying new things, about speaking my mind, about being true to myself. Today, I am not rich. I do not have a big house, but I have a life that is mine. I have a job I like. I have good friends. I have peace in my heart. I can smile, and my smile reaches my eyes. I can laugh, and my laughter is free. My voice is no longer small. I can speak, and people listen. I started taking evening classes to learn more English, to learn about computers. It is exciting to learn new things. It makes me feel alive. Sometimes, I look back at the day I walked away with empty hands and a hopeful heart. I was so scared, so alone. But I did it. I faced my fear. I built a new life. from nothing. And if I can do it, you can too. Maybe your challenge is different. Maybe you are facing a different kind of fear, but you have courage inside you too. Everyone does. Sometimes it is hidden deep inside. Sometimes you have to dig for it, but it is there, and you have a hopeful heart. Even if it is just a tiny spark, nurture that spark. Let it grow. It will guide you. It will give you strength. Starting over is hard. It is one of 9 the hardest things in life, but it is also a chance to build something new, something better, something that is truly yours. So, if you are standing at a difficult crossroads, if you feel like you have nothing, remember my story. Remember Aisha. Remember that empty hands can build a beautiful life, and a hopeful heart can overcome any fear. Believe in yourself. Be brave. Take that first small step, and then another, and another. You are stronger than you think. You can do this. Your new life is waiting for you. Go and build it. With your own hands, and with your own hopeful heart. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be free. You deserve to be yourself. Keep going.